Hi, and welcome to IKEA. How can I help?
Oh, my schedule is crazy. I just want some me time.
Maybe it's time to embrace the joy of staying in. With comfortable beds, pillow and decor, mood lighting, and so much more, you can turn your bedroom into the place to be.
Oh, sounds like a dream.
We've got you. Visit us in-store or at ikea-usa.com/sleep to create your dream bedroom today.
Restore your vehicle's engine to run like new with Valvoline Restore and Protect, now available at Advance Auto Parts. It's the first motor oil ever to remove up to 100% of engine-killing deposits. That's right, 100%. Stop by your local Advance Auto Parts store today and get 5 quarts of Valvoline Restore and Protect Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil for only $33.99. Up to 100% piston deposit removal when used as directed for 4 or more consecutive oil changes at standard maintenance intervals, based on adapted sequence 3H testing.
You should turn this off right now.
Delete.
You don't want to listen to this.
This isn't what you were looking for.
It's not. You have come to the wrong place.
Or we have come with the wrong thing.
Listen. Hi, it's Kristen and Jenny. You know us, we think. We didn't tell you last week on our episode for Bad Eggs. You might remember it. It went something like this. Bad Eggs! Was that good, Jenny?
That was great.
We didn't tell you that because Jenny was on tour. Jenny, how was your tour?
It was so fun.
Oh, it sounded so fun.
It was so great. So many people brought Buffy DVDs for me to sign.
We didn't tell you that because Jenny was on tour. We are doing a mailbag episode this week and then coming at you hot on April 19th with what you have all been waiting for, the episode Surprise.
Yay!
Followed immediately the following week on the 26th by the other episode you've been waiting for, Innocence.
Yay!
We have a great mailbag ahead. A great mailbag. But you guys have been stressing me out all week because everyone keeps tweeting and emailing and being like, oh my God, we're so excited. We've watched every episode. We're ready. And I keep like emailing people back and tweeting at everyone back and being like, oh guys, is this a mailbag next week? And then after that is the one that you're looking for. So I feel I've been racked with guilt. Racked with all the guilt. Because we didn't give you a heads up. We promised to always give you a heads up in the future. Because we felt so bad, we decided to plan our next Buffy watch, which is open to anyone who is a patron of ours at the $1 level or more. So all of our patrons, any of our patrons. The next Buffy watch is going to be on April 24th. It's a Monday. It's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we are all going to watch Surprise together. It will be the week that falls in between Surprise and Innocence, or the Monday that falls between, I should say, Surprise and Innocence. So mark your calendars for that. We will all get to watch it together. And now you know that there are 2 surprises. One is the episode, and the other one is Surprise. This is not Surprise. It's a mailbag.
Hello and welcome to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where usually we're watching and discussing every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one at a time, but not this week. This week we've got other plans. I'm Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I am Kristen Russo, and this right here, this is a mailbag episode.
It's where we have mail that is in a bag.
Yep, we pull the mail out of the bag one at a time.
Like a sack, like Santa's,
yeah.
Gift set.
I don't want to say sack anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So here we are.
Yeah, we get incredible email from so many of you. And so we try to do a mailbag episode, every month and a half or so, because by that time we have stacked it up to the ceiling. And so we handpick some of our favorites and respond right here in real time on the podcast.
Right here in real time.
I don't know. I think I've been possessed by an announcer ghost.
I am into it. Mm-hmm. So, how are you?
How am I? Jenny said before we started recording, hey, what do you think about us talking to each other before we read some of the mail? And I was like, Sure, we can talk. Are you using this as a platform to discuss things that you don't want to discuss off air? You're like, I was thinking about buying a new guitar.
Right. Oh, God, I really was thinking about that. I'm thinking about that every day. You can safely assume that's always on my mind.
Right. Well, what kind of things do you want to talk about, Jenny?
Well, we just watched the trailer for Colossal.
Oh, man.
And it looks spectacular.
It really looks spectacular. I saw a tweet from the AV Club that was like paraphrasing here, but it was like, this film, Colossal, helped Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis understand men activists or
men's rights activists.
Men's rights activists. And I was like, click. What? Yeah. And then when I clicked, I read like the first couple of sentences of the review, or no, it was an interview with, I think, Anne Hathaway on the AV Club. And the first few sentences were like, in this movie about a woman who can turn into a giant monster in Japan by standing in a spot in a playground in the United States.
Unbelievable.
That also tackles things like men's rights and, female empowerment. I was like, what? And I clicked on the trailer and I made Jenny sit and watch it with me. And now we are really excited.
So excited to see that.
I mean, it seems right in our wheelhouse, if you will.
Yeah, up Jenny and Kristen alley.
Yeah. Monsters, patriarchy. Come on, Anne Hathaway. You don't like Anne Hathaway?
Well, watching that trailer, just like, I have a...
complex
relationship with Anne Hathaway.
You have a Hathaway complex?
I have a Hathaway complex. But I do like, I have enjoyed watching her act. In fact, one of our very first dates was watching Rachel getting married.
That's true, it was.
In which she is
one of our very first dates. It was our very first date.
Well, I guess like date.
Wow.
What? Gotta go. So anyway... What a delight to be discussing exciting things with you.
Yeah, you see, are you backtracking now, wishing that you had not enticed us to talk about our personal lives?
Let's get to that mail. The mail's just burning a hole in my
We're going to do our best to
hand.
see Colossal in the next few weeks as soon as it comes out. So you should see it too, because maybe we'll talk about it on a future podcast.
Yep.
Maybe, just maybe, if we actually get to the movies. Okay. Moving right along to the controversial topic of vampire hair.
Yes.
Jenny, why don't you read to us? We've gotten several emails in response to our question of whether or not vampires' hair can grow, which was kind of based on your perception that Angel's hair never changes. Right. A lot of people had a lot of thoughts. Mary B. and Melissa B. Not related.
That we know of.
To our knowledge, right. Both wrote in. So let's hear what they have to say.
So Mary B writes, we do see evidence of at least one vampire's hair growth over the course of the show. It's not that noticeable when it comes to length, but the vampire in question apparently dyes their hair and at one point has roots in their natural color. Good eye, Mary B.
Good eye, Mary B. And nice work not spoiling anything in that telling of your noticing of the vampire hair growth. Appreciate that.
And then Melissa B. wrote in to say, Angel's hair length definitely changes. It's much longer in his vampire adolescence / the early years. Other than explaining with metaphysics. I do have a friend that is blind that shaves by touch. He's quite adept at it, but tells me it took years not to get cuts. Angel heals very quickly, so I guess it's less of an issue for vampires. Maybe there are vampire hairstylists? Serious life questions.
Right. So Melissa is commenting both on our question about hair growth as well as we asked, how does Angel shave if he can't see himself in the mirror? Melissa, one of a couple of people bringing something very important to our attention, which is that there are blind people who shave their faces and are capable of doing that. And of course, it takes time to learn, but that Angel would be able to do something similar here with practice and have an easier time because his nicks and cuts, they just seal right up.
Right. I have a related question that sprang to mind most recently while watching the People and Entertainment Weekly Buffy 20th Anniversary Reunion 5 thing.
That's the title. That's the official title.
Yeah, they called me up and said, what should the title be? And I was like, here it is. And they were like, great.
Right. We always call Jenny for succinct titles.
Yeah. So my question is, perhaps, does David Boreanaz's hair grow? Because... He has had the same hairstyle for the past 20 years. It was slightly longer in Buffy times, But all throughout the 12 seasons of Bones that he has filmed, he's just had that
Wow, is
straight
that
up in the air
really?
like he saw a ghost.
Does Bones really have 12 seasons?
Yeah.
Wow, who knew? That's so many seasons. Yeah, I mean, so I think what you're bringing to our attention, Jenny, is that perhaps we got distracted in the lore of monsterdom.
And we were ignoring the question that was right in front of us this whole time.
Which is, David Boreanaz, what are you?
What indeed?
So this next email comes in from Ashley, and it is for you, Jenny.
Hooray.
Ashley listened to our last mailbag episode in which you told a story about a dream you had where a witch put some worms and other nonsense at your feet.
Blah, blah, blah.
Ashley says, Jenny, I'm listening to this mailbag episode and I got a major case of the shivers. When I was a child, somewhere between 4 and 6, I had a dream that Ronald McDonald was under my bed, sticking me in between my toes with needles. I am so sorry, everyone. Ashley, this is horrible. Still to this day, says Ashley, I have a hard time sleeping if the covers are not tightly tucked in at the foot of the bed.
Ashley, that's terrible.
It's almost as terrible as that bug that hatches out of the egg and bad eggs. Almost. Not quite. For me.
Yeah, no, the egg bug is still worse than this. But this is pretty bad, especially, man, Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, ooh, Ronald McDonald.
Of all the clowns.
Ooh, rough clown. It's a rough clown. Listen, I don't like clowns. Not many people I think like clowns. Sorry, clowns.
No offense,
No
clowns.
offense to you, clowns, but you can be scary.
But why are you so creepy?
Well, I mean, I think clowns have been used for as long as we've been alive as
Horror movie plot devices.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Anybody seen Poltergeist? Oh, man, that clown.
That is the worst.
Yeah, Ronald McDonald ain't got nothing on the Poltergeist clown. That clown is just something. But, you know, this is terrifying, Ashley. And there's something, too, about, like, the foot of the bed. Or under the bed is obviously like the place where we're always afraid of things and, you know, what's under there.
I would take a flying leap if I had to, because my light switch was by the door, but then my bed was on the other side of the room. So I would go running and like jump into my bed to avoid getting anywhere near the edge of under the bed where whatever was under there I assumed would grab my ankle.
Yes, and because you can't see it, because you cannot see it. And that's like, not to keep talking about bad eggs again, but like that's kind of what is so scary about that scene too. It's like, yeah, the bug is scary or the whatever it is, the baby Bzor. I hope she has a baby Bzorn for her baby Bzor. But like it's because she can't see where it is. The worst thing that could ever happen to you is to not be able to see what is happening, and you cannot see what's happening at your feet when you're in bed. Oh, it's bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone. You know what? Let's talk about libraries.
Please.
Now, this is a longer email, but it is great.
It is great.
There's a couple of emails that we're going to read that are a little bit longer than our typical emails, but they have made it in because they are phenomenal. Chris B writes
possibly related to Mary B and Melissa B.
Why is everyone's last initial B? Chris B writes in, as a former late 90s teenager and current children's librarian, I wanted to write in and offer you plausible explanation for one of the show's most baffling mysteries. Why doesn't anyone other than the Scooby Gang go into the school library?
Dun, dun, dun.
Up until the mid-90s, students had to visit the library in order to do research for papers, projects, etc. A library was pretty much their only source for reference materials. However, with the advent of personal computers and access to the internet, those materials became conveniently gathered and organized on the web and/or in helpful encyclopedia CD-ROMs. Remember Encarta? I do, Crispy. I do remember Encarta. By 96, 97, most high school students could now do their research more conveniently at home or in designated school computer labs. Compounding this issue was the fact that while a fair number of librarians at the time embraced the computer revolution, many felt more like Giles, preferring card catalogs to search engines.
I still feel that way.
This, too, often led to a disconnect between student and librarian, a growing sense that librarians, and therefore libraries, were old-fashioned or obsolete, and a corresponding decreasing interest in libraries as anything other than a glorified study space for nerds.
In quotes.
Yes, nerds is in quotes, because we know what a nerd is, and a nerd is not what a nerd seems. Goodbye. Chris B continues, big chain bookstores also became more widespread during the 90s, offering cheap books for sale and leading to non-voracious readers avoiding libraries altogether. All of which leads us up to the Sunnydale High School Library, where there seems to be a total of 1 computer available for use, a collection heavily weighted in favor of folklore and the occult, a librarian who, while personable and always rocking a tweed suit, didn't like the internet or technology in general, and a small group of wacky kids always hanging out and talking about monsters during their many, in quotes, free periods, i.e. cut classes. It's somewhat understandable that few students would want or need to go into that library, particularly if they peered through those little round windows one day on the way to class and spotted scattered piles of medieval weaponry, a blonde girl beating up the librarian with a quarterstaff, or demons popping out of the floor.
Great points. Great points all.
Crispy. Oh, Crispy, my favorite librarian after Giles. Sorry, but I'm sure you'll understand Crispy. But librarian number 2 goes
You're
to
in
you.
Kristen's top 2 librarians of all time. Congratulations.
Congrats. I just loved this. I don't even have that much to say about it. Crispy has said all of the things that need to be said. But we were talking a little bit in last episode about like the mall and like the position of the mall in culture. And I think this kind of falls in the same line
Right.
of like what the internet does to physical, like what it did in the 90s and still is doing to physical spaces.
Yeah.
And I think what's really interesting is that now we're in the year 2017. I'm saying that clearly in case this sound file is picked up in space one day.
Right. Our podcast goes on like the next Voyager.
But like now in the year 2017, I think we're also seeing the internet and like our progression with the internet affecting physical spaces and physical items in a little bit of the opposite way. Like at first, like libraries and physical products and like going to the mall sort of were pushed more away. And I think now we're seeing, vinyl vinyl is a thing that I think a lot about, and like physical books and zines and things like this being popularized again. As sort of like a pushback against how they were pushed away.
Right.
Push. You get what I'm saying, guys.
I get what you're saying.
Maybe I need a trip to the library.
I would love to take you.
I
Also,
actually go to the library all the time.
Me too. I don't know if you knew that because we
don't talk.
spend a lot of time together, so you don't know a lot about my day-to-day activities,
Right.
and I don't know about yours.
No, but Jenny and I are big library people. We work at the library. Jenny is always taking books out from the library.
Love taking them books out.
Anyway, you were going to say something.
Who can say?
What you were going to say?
Nobody. I think I was going to say I love physical items.
Speaking of the
intangible 0 and 1 items.
Yeah, that's us. I mean, when we moved here to California, the friends who helped us move into our home here in California were so mad at us because we had 4 million boxes that weighed 4 million pounds each because we had so many books. Yeah. That's the kind of people we are. Anyhow, onwards and upwards.
To my favorite email of all time.
Yes.
Back when we watched The Dark Age, and we chatted with our pal Stuart McLean, who portrayed Philip Henry, who is first a dude and then a reanimated corpse in the episode. And we saw Philip Henry in the morgue, all bruised with these splotchy bruises all over his body. And I was like, WTF.
Yeah.
Is that the corpse norm? And I think I said about as much on our episode of the podcast for that episode. And immediately, if not sooner, Delisa P. wrote in, I teach anatomy. After a person dies, the blood in their body pools downward, parentheses, gravity, giving the appearance of bruises. That is the entire email.
Yes.
I love it.
I love this email too because it was like, listen, you have a question, here's an answer. I don't have any more time for any more nonsense. Here's what I have to say about bruising, and I love it. I love every bit of it. I think the next email is related.
Yes, also from the Science Lab.
Also from the Science Lab, also from the Dark Age. Nathan wrote in saying, regarding the question of acid in the Dark Age, the question was that Ethan Rayne used sulfuric acid to burn off his tattoo, or at least that's what we were to believe. We weren't sure if that was actually something that could happen. And Nathan, don't you worry. Don't anyone worry, because Nathan said, regarding this question, my boyfriend is a scientist who works with sulfuric acid and spills it on himself regularly. He says that it is almost certainly not an option for tattoo removal, as he still has all of his skin.
We should all be so lucky to still have all of our skin.
Yeah, so thank you, Nathan. We're glad your boyfriend has all of his skin, and we're also happy to know that sulfuric acid
is
probably won't remove your tattoo. I mean, I don't know
safer
that I would call it safe
than we
Jenny.
once feared.
Disclaimer.
Don't drink it.
Disclaimer.
Don't drink it.
Good Lord. Something I think that is also super fun is a conversation around the cross. We're skipping a little ahead now to the episode with Kendra. What is the episode where Kendra appears for the first
What's
time?
My Line?
What's My Line? Where we noticed that Buffy's cross that she was wearing, her necklace, was smaller when she was kissing Angel on the ice rink and then throughout that episode. And many of you had cross theories. Lauren M., I think it could symbolize how Buffy's cross to bear has gotten smaller now that Kendra is on the scene. There's more than one Slayer. And so, her cross to bear is not quite as heavy. I love that, Lauren M. Kaylee W., Buffy's tiny cross might have been a wardrobe choice so that Kendra could reasonably think Buffy was a vampire without a billboard-sized Jesus necklace gleaming across an ice rink to indicate otherwise. Thank you, Kaylee. Also, I think spectacular reasoning here.
Yep.
And then someone, and I'm so sorry to whoever you are, but someone tweeted at us, and I remember the tweet, but I cannot find it. But this was my favorite theory. I think that it will burn less because Angel and Buffy are making out a bunch now. So the theory here being that Buffy had to downsize.
Yeah, because we know that Angel can't keep his shirt closed.
Oh, no. For heavens, no.
Buffy really needs to minimize the size of the cross she's wearing at a given time.
Yes. So Kaylee writes additionally in her email, we heard her tiny cross theory, but Kaylee also writes to us about something else that happened in What's My Line, which is when Oz says to Willow that he's been practicing his E-flat diminished ninth. Is that what he says? That he's practicing his E-flat diminished ninth?
That he aspires to that.
That he aspires to that. So Kaylee says, Jenny, is E-flat... Oh, and he calls it... What's important is he aspires to that, and he calls it a man's chord. So Kaylee says, Jenny, is E-flat diminished ninth some kind of holy grail for guitar on a scale of 1 to the patriarchy? How offensive is the term man's chord?
Oh, boy. So
Yeah,
we
so-
actually talked about this in the episode and ended up taking it out because, I just, can't.
Jenny had some difficulty explaining this because you're a girl.
Right, because women don't know as much
And you
about...
don't, because it's a man's chord.
What is a man's chord?
What we should have done for
Oh.
this episode, we should have invited a man over
To explain...
any man, actually. It didn't even have to be a man who knows about music, because just by default of being a man, they would probably be able to explain to us what an E-flat diminished ninth is.
So the way that chords are made, they're made up of a bunch of different notes, and the chord has different qualities based on what notes are selected and, what notes are in or outside of the key.
Interesting.
So E-flat diminished ninth actually goes by other names as well, because if you shuffle the notes around...
Does it go by the name the patriarchy chord?
It goes by the name of the patriarchy chord.
Sorry. If you shuffle things
No,
around.
it's fine. Part of it is interpretation. So, a chord could contain 5 notes, and those 5 notes could equal an E-flat diminished ninth, or the more commonly used name for it, F7 flat 9. You've got an E-flat, a G-flat, an A, an F, and a C, right? And those notes can be shuffled around into a different order, or into, a different mental order for you to understand a different note in the chord as being the root, the E-flat or the F. And then you sort of interpret what the nature of the chord is based around where you're hearing the root.
How did it make you feel when it was called a man's chord, Jenny?
Irritated?
Can you is it a chord you can play on a piano?
Yeah, sure.
Can you do that for us? Can you play us? Or do we need a man?
Let's get a man in here.
Can you
Actually, yeah, give me your phone. So we're looking at E-flat, G-flat, A, C, F. Listen to that chord. Oh, it's actually kind of pretty.
Wow. Thank you, Jenny, so much for that beautiful musical lesson. Both teaching us 2 things. Teaching us about the E-flat diminished ninth and teaching us about the power of feminism.
Is that what I did? Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. And if you have sensitive skin, you're going to want to hear about their scientifically proven topical supplements. Free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, or itchy, their products are safe for sensitive skin. It's just one of the reasons they've earned the Skin Safe seal of approval.
They've also earned the Jenny Owen Youngs and Kristen Russo seal of approval, if I do say so myself, Jenny.
I couldn't agree more. I've been using OneSkin for a few months, and after a few weeks, I remember it like it was yesterday. I texted Kristen and I was like, maybe she's born with it. I looked in the mirror that morning and was like, oh, things are happening, and I am happy.
I have used a million billion skin products, and I did not think that I was going to switch off of the skin like lotion, the moisturizer that I used, and the under eye cream that I use, because I have used them for a little while and I really like them. And I've switched completely, which is a pretty big deal. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and if you can, please tell them that we sent you. I think so. Okay, let's talk about ghosts. Y'all ready for a little email here?
I'm ready for ghosts.
This is a great email. Jenny, would you like me to read this email? Or would you like to? This is a long email. I know sometimes you don't like to read aloud long emails.
I'd love to give it a stab.
Ooh, she's going to do it. She's going to do it, folks. Jenny Owen Young's reading an email from Adam T.
Hold your applause. During the Lie to Me episode, you mentioned some weird encounters you've both had, which you attributed to ghosts. I recently came across some information that may give a scientific explanation for ghost sightings. As an audio engineer, this information made me really excited, as it has to do with sound. As you may or may not know, different sounds can have different physical effects on our bodies. While you may assume that this would only apply to sounds that we can hear, even sounds we can't hear can still have an effect on our bodies. Many studies have shown that even though we can't hear sounds outside of our frequency range, we can still perceive them, and they can cause different effects on the body. One such range of frequencies is from 7 to 19 hertz, just below the hearing range of humans. Scientists have found that frequencies in this range can induce fear or panic. They believe that we evolved this trait as a source of protection against dangers like earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, as both produce frequencies within the 7 to 19 hertz range. So how does this explain ghost sightings? Well, pipes commonly found in houses and buildings can produce frequencies in this range if they are the right size and length. So a haunted house may not actually have ghosts, but pipes that are producing low frequencies that are inducing fear and panic in people. Now, what about ghost sightings? Well, not only can these frequencies affect how we feel, but they also affect how we see. According to NASA, sounds with a frequency of 18.9 hertz can resonate within our eyeballs if they are powerful enough. Within our eyeballs.
Adam T did not sing it. Jenny, no. That's Jenny's
that's my
embellishment.
This resonance in our eyeballs can smear our vision so that a small object like a speck of dust can appear as a much larger moving object. This frequency can be reproduced by exhaust fans in buildings and further amplified by the shape of the room. So your friends that have come into your studio and see a ghost in your chair may have just smeared vision caused by low frequencies being produced by an exhaust fan, which are then resonating within the room. So sorry if I ruined ghosts for you by giving you a scientific explanation for them, but I just found this really interesting and had to share it with you. P.S. Sorry, Kristen, I don't have an explanation for bathtub faucet thing. That's super creepy.
Yeah, that is super creepy. This is so amazing.
This is amazing. I love it.
Adam, it does not make me not believe in ghosts, but it does give me a lot.
It makes me believe in Adam.
Yeah. Seriously. The thing that's bananas about this, I mean, it's great on so many levels, but we record in this studio, the studio where our friends saw a ghost sitting in the chair, the very chair I'm sitting in right now, right? Here's a fact you don't know. We have had a crazy time trying to get the microphones in this office to not have a hum. That we cannot figure out where it comes from. We cannot figure out what the microphones are picking up. They hum differently depending on which way they're facing in the room. Mm-hmm. We have unplugged and replugged. It is a thing.
You think it's ghosts?
No.
Oh.
No, in this case, with this new information, I'm just thinking, what if there's something in the room that is at 18.9 hertz, that is messing with the microphones, that is smearing our friend's vision, and it all fits together like a beautiful ghost puzzle.
Wow, what could it be?
I don't know. We might never know, but I love this. I mean, human brains and oof. There's just a lot. I still believe, I mean, obviously, the bathtub faucet, right? It turned on. And like our friend and yours, Kate Leth, recently did a Twitter rant about a ghost story that she had, which involved a knock on the door. So those things are, that's why I hold true to my belief in ghosts. But I do think that this is very interesting. And I love it, and I love you, Adam T. Not related to ghosts, but, in similar orbits, we find the question about the tarot cards. Here's the deal. Molly W., Crystal C., Elise F., and Robert W. all wrote in emails that were 427 pages long apiece. They were amazing. They were fascinating, but they all were like markedly different. They had some overlap, some not. They talked about the two different decks of tarot. Some of them said that certain cards were certainly within the deck. Some of them said that no cards were able to be in the deck. There was a whole tarot explosion.
Wow. That
was fascinating to me, but that when I sat down and like tried to be like, how do I get all this information together in a succinct fashion? I could not do it. But I do want you all to know that we received all of your tarot information and it has opened my mind. One of you, I believe Molly W., said, Kristen, I cannot believe with your history you did not ever get into tarot. I would like to correct you. I did get into tarot. I just did not know about what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like, I certainly was like, I love a tarot deck, and I would like for, I don't want to get the death card. Like, but I didn't do the proper research. So you're right, but also I did have tarot. I did have the tarot experience.
The tarot experience is buying a tarot deck and like looking at it with your friends.
Yeah, well, like I had some
and being spooky.
Yes, it is, Jenny.
Okay. These tarot cards go great with my long velvet frock.
So we've gotten some questions from Twitter that I would love to tackle if you're into it.
What's up, Twitter?
Nina has a three-parter.
Three prongs
to this question. Are you going to WhedonCon? We are not going to WhedonCon, and I will tell you why we are not going to WhedonCon. It is because we are going to a camp run by Autostraddle and me, Kristen Russo. It's a camp for queer and trans women and non-binary folks and some trans men because gender is complicated, and I co-direct the camp in May.
So attendance is mandatory.
Attendance is very mandatory. And Jenny is my wife and works with me at a camp.
I am the special assistant of covering emotional needs.
Yes,
to
and
the
also
camp co-director,
and also the composer of the official A Camp theme song, written by you. Performed by you.
Is it official?
It is official. Because you want to know what? I'm the co-director, so I can make it official.
Nepotism.
It happens at the same time as WhedonCon, so we will not be there this year. But if you are going to WhedonCon, you should go check out a panel being done by Sunnydale Study Group and Hellmouthy, two other Buffy podcasts. Believe it or not, there are a bunch.
Yeah.
And the lovely people at Sunnydale Study Group and Hellmouthy are doing a panel at WhedonCon, and they have asked us if we could participate virtually. So we're going to send them a special video that they will be playing at that panel. So if you are going to be at WhedonCon, go check it out. Have a good time. Be there for us in spirit. We will be missing you from Wisconsin, where we'll be with a bunch of queer and trans people having a party of our own. Question number 2 from Nina. Kristen, have you watched Angel? Why, yes, Nina, I have. I have watched Angel. I watched Angel at the same time as I watched Buffy, in the order in which I was designated to watch the episodes told to us by the internet, so that all of the crossover episodes would cross over the way that they were supposed to, and so on and so forth. I'm sure that what you all want to know now is, are we going to do a podcast about Angel? We don't know. We don't
TBD.
know. We don't know.
As yet
when
undetermined.
We know, we will let you know, but we don't know. But we do love Angel. Last question. Do you have a favorite episode of the podcast so far?
Oh my gosh.
Do you?
I love the live episode, right?
Same.
The live episode is so fun.
Yeah, the live episode is my favorite episode. There's just something, it's like, we sit in this room, this quiet little room.
Yeah.
And we talk to you, and then later you listen and you might have responses. Somebody wrote into us about how they love our podcast so much that when they drive around in their car, they punch the ceiling when their out loud laughter isn't enough. So we know you're having emotions out there, but we can't hear them in real time. But that's why the live episode was so fun, both to do it and to also listen back to it, because you can hear the response in real time, and the response in real time, sort of fed us. And so it had this very special energy.
Totally.
And
it was so fun. It was also nice usually it's like us and maybe a guest, right? But to get to hear a variety of guests within one podcast episode, really fun. And Chris Farron, Brittany Nichols, and Gabby Dunn all did such a great job.
Dream team. What a dream team. And actually, we will be attempting to do a live episode at A Camp. Speaking of A Camp and live episodes.
Let it be so.
Let it be so. We think that it will be very fun. But yeah, so those were some great questions from Nina. One more question from Twitter, from Matt B. Man, what is with the last initials of B?
I'll be all the time.
I'll be all the time. If Buffy could cross over with any other TV show, which do you think would be perfect?
Which do you think would be perfect?
Perfect. What is the perfect crossover episode? Crossover series. For Buffy?
All I want to see is Buffy and the X-Files. That's all I want.
What do you think would happen if Buffy met Mulder and Scully?
I think Mulder would be all like Muldery, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, the Order of Taraka. Yeah, I was just reading about this esoteric, hyper-regional, micro niche folklore item that's directly related to what you're talking about. What are the odds?" And Scully will be like, I can't believe in anything. Scully will get knocked out every time a vampire is about to go into vamp face, because she's always unconscious.
Scully would be like, Buffy, your body temperature
happens.
is a little higher than normal, and I think that's where you're scientifically getting this extra strength from.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
That would be great.
That would be great. I think they would have a great relationship as a trio. Mm-hmm. Because Buffy sort of straddles the line, between reality and fantasy. Like, that's her whole character, is that she's got one foot in high school and one foot in the monster land.
Right.
So I'm into that. I don't know what my favorite, we have, we were just talking to my friend, our friend, Reese Bernard, who is the person who runs Autostraddle, speaking of Autostraddle. And her first response when we read this question aloud was My So-Called Life, which I didn't even get a chance to think about it before she said it. But I'm going to tell you what, if I could push together two of my favorite TV shows, I would do it. And I think, who would be so into Buffy?
Jordan Catalano?
No. Well, Jordan Catalano would definitely want to make out with Buffy.
Right.
But no, Rayanne Graff would be so into Buffy. Rayanne Graff dressed up as a vampire for Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's the best and she understands the importance of vampires.
Okay.
And I think that Buffy, if Buffy changed schools and was going to school with Rayanne and Angela and Ricky, I think there'd be a little tension, because I think that Rayanne would be super excited about Buffy, and I think Angela would be kind of jealous about it. Thank you so much for that question. So now I can just think about Buffy attending the same high school as Rayanne Graff and Angela Chase. That would make me happy. Anyway, on to increasingly important news and emails here. We have an email from Joseph K. Do you want to read it, Jenny, or should I?
Oh my gosh, you should read it, because it's about Cordelia.
It is about Cordelia. Joseph K. writes in honor of the lovely and perfect Queen C, I thought I would share some possible origins for the name Cordelia. According to my extensive Wikipedia research, the name is most likely derived from the Latin root cor, or cordis, meaning heart. So it could be a way of calling someone dear heart or true heart, which is what I call Cordelia all the time, Joseph. Another possibility is that it comes from the French phrase Coeur de Lion. I don't know if that's how you say that, but it sounds good to me, which means heart of a lion. A third possibility is that it comes from the Welsh name, here we go, Creedly lad, meaning jewel from the sea. Isn't language fascinating? And perhaps she was named in honor of Shakespeare's Cordelia, who was King Lear's loyal and honest daughter who proved her love by refusing to flatter her aging father, unlike her more sycophantic sisters, and suffered a tragic fate for her troubles. Miss Chase does possess a certain forthright, brutal honesty, and we do know that Joss Whedon is a big Shakespeare fan.
Spectacular points and information. Joseph K.
Joseph K. You might know. You might have hit on that tip. You might have Joseph K., you might know that a secret way to probably get on the mailbag episode or to up your chances is by writing us something about Queen C.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially the possible origins of her name. We cannot, of course, talk about all these possible origins and talk about her lion heart or her, forthright, brutal honesty without playing her jingle, can we, Jenny?
Guess we can't. Cordelia, I love you, Cordelia. You're perfect, Cordelia.
Well. That was lovely. Lovely as always. Thank you, Joseph K., for the inspiration. Thank you to Cordelia for existing.
Praise.
Jenny, why don't you read Leah T's email here because you are the one who can answer this question.
Oh boy. Leah T writes, wow, I've been loving this podcast. If I started talking about all the things I love and appreciate about it, I would be talking for days. Thanks, Leah. Anyways, after being weeks behind, I was catching up on the podcast on my commute, and the special 20th anniversary episode was playing. I work for a summer camp for girls, and as soon as I heard Demons to Fight, I knew I wanted to be able to play it at a campfire. Would I be able to get the chords for the song, as well as the okay to perform it? Finding slow songs that are empowering, don't focus on romantic love or home, and in general super rad, is surprisingly difficult, which is why I was so stoked to hear it. Leah T.
Leah T is not the only person who has written into us to get chords to some of the songs for a summer camp. Like, it's not...
Summer camp?
Right? And not the first person to write us to request the songs for a summer camp for girls, specifically, to empower them. I can't. We cannot. This is the best. You can play. Of course you can play it.
Please do.
How will you play it if you don't have the chords?
I shall prepare them for you.
That is wonderful, Jenny. I wrote to Leah and I asked Leah when the camp started, and Leah said the end of May. So
I'll be a-hustling to make that chord sheet happen.
yes. So follow us. If you don't already follow us on Twitter at BufferingCast, or follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/BufferingCast, and we will get you the chords for Demons to Fight. And Patreons, keep your eyes peeled as well, because you might get some bonus chords over there.
Absolutely.
And we'll let you know what's where and when's where and what's what as soon as we get there. Yes?
Great.
So this has been a lovely time.
What a delight.
There's one more email.
Oh, is there?
There is. In a recent episode, Giles said to Buffy that he believed it was staking time. Buffy was taking out her anger about Ted, fighting a vamp a little bit too much. And Giles said, it's staking time, Buffy. And that inspired me to sing a song, or a part of a song, on the episode of our podcast for Ted, Staking Time. That's all I did. I put a couple notes into the universe that had been written for me by someone else with new words. And Brittany M. wrote in, because Brittany M. wrote the full song for us.
Wow.
Staking Time. Lyrics by Brittany M. And Jenny is going to perform the song for us all. Brittany, thank you for your lyrics.
Staking time. Open all the caskets and stake all the vamps in the heart. Staking time. Open all the blinds and turn all the vamps into dust. Staking time. One last call for alcohol at Willie's demonic bar. Staking time. Beat him for some info and go save the world. I know who I want to save the world. I know who I want to save the world. I got some holy water. Hope that you have got a stake. Staking time. Every new vamp slayer comes from some other vamp slayer's end. I know who I want to save the world. I know who I want to save the world. I know who I want to save the world, save the world. Staking time. Every new vamp slayer comes from some other vamp slayer's end.
Wow, that was great. Jenny, great job.
Thank you so much.
Brittany, great job.
Great job, Brittany.
And you would not believe it if we told you, but we're going to tell you, and you're going to have to believe it. After we got these lyrics and we recorded this song, we got another email from Alyssa, who also sent us a completely different set of complete lyrics to this song, which is phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You all are the best. We did make a live video of Jenny recording that song, and that will be up again for all of our patrons. We set that up at the front of the episode in case you are new and you don't know what that means. We have a Patreon account. It's found at patreon.com/bufferingcast. And over there, you can get all sorts of fun rewards for supporting this podcast, one of which is joining us for that Buffy watch we talked about on April 24th. Another of which is seeing this live video of Jenny playing the song. And we will also put up Alyssa's complete lyrics that were sent through to us so you can see the alternate version as well. So check that all out over on Patreon.
Well, that does it for us for today's mailbag. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Jenny Owen Youngs. You can give me a shout on Twitter at Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I'm Kristen Russo. You can find me on Twitter at Kristen Noeline, KRISTINNOELINE.
Follow the show on Facebook and Twitter at BufferingCast. And shoot us an email anytime for future mailbag consideration at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com.
And of course, we will see you next week. And guess what we'll be talking about next week? Surprise.
Ah!
It's going to be a good one.
For real.
See you then.
Till next time.
Ow!
Hi, I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life. I talk to acclaimed director and executive producer Roland Emmerich.
When I saw the first race, I was like giddy.
Actor Ewan Ryan.
For an actor, that's a dream. Although you do get a lot of sand in your sandals.
And so many more.
You helped summon those ghosts back onto that stage.
Every day when I went to set, I was giggling about what I saw.
I think it's going to be a breathtaking thing.
People will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
A bloodbath tonight in the rural town of Chinook.
Everyone here is hiding a secret.
4 more victims found scattered.
Some worse than others.
I came as fast as I could. I'm Deputy Ruth Vogel.
And soon, my quiet life will never be the same.
Realm presents a 30 Ninjas production, Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.